Not talking Notre Dame. We're not talking Notre Dame. Please refrain from the Notre Dame talk. This is your final warning class. Final warning class. Please, no Notre Dame talk as we get started for the NFL. All right. How we doing? Thanks for being here bright and early. What's up, Steak? How are you? No hat today, huh?
No hat today, dude.
You look sharp. You look fresh. Still semi-pasty, which, you know what I realized? Pasty's my new insult I'm calling people. I called Snide a pasty ass yesterday.
I saw that. In this case, though, for me, I am very pasty. It's football season, and I haven't been going outside that much.
Yeah, which is why I think what I did yesterday was absolutely brilliant. I had the sun beaming in on me, and typically I'd put a shade down or maybe move on a separate side of a couch. No, I sat in the sun, got some sun, and put my sunglasses on. We got a hype train going on already. What's going on in here, ladies and gentlemen? You guys are giving out sub bangs. We love that. What's up? We are live on TikTok as well. I see Ron Ginsburg in there liking that shit up. Matthew Frosty, what's up, Matthew Frosty? How was I not sub, boys? I have no idea. Clam Mucker 3000, we always love that. 32 months the Clam Mucker has been with us.
W's, Frosty,
W's. How are we doing in YouTube? By the way, I see YouTube is up and moving nice and early. I figured YouTube would be a couple of early risers if they're the older, more mature crowd. Big morning guys over here. Steak, you're a big morning guy as well, I believe. I am so I have a little corpus today, not a hard stop, but I think 10:30 should be plenty of time to run through the slate. We're going to be joined by Cam is Money today. Looking forward to it. Our fellow West Coast friend. Time to get weird. Yep. Happy Sunday morning, fellas. Good morning. Yep. No Notre Dame recap. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
I am really excited to do the Monday recap, not because I want to give you shit about Notre Dame. I'm a Gators fan, but that was a hell of a day of college football, dude.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. And you know what? It started really ugly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a gross, there was some stuff going on at noon, and then 3:30 was ugly. It was like, God, I know it was Tennessee, Georgia, but what was that other game that was bad and then got good? Pitt in West Virginia. Pitt in West Virginia was ugly and got good. Appreciate the hype train. Why did ND go for 2? They didn't go for 2. Everybody keeps saying that they bobbled the snap on the extra point. I saw Trent say that. Yeah. Oh, Miami. Yep. Mods title change. Well, I don't know what that means. Country Roads. Nice job there. And unfortunately, Crutch, though, we can't be too excited because that was a huge win for Georgia Tech. And I think our win total is fucked there. Cool team. You know who's not a cool team? South Carolina's not a cool team. They can get fucked. And Virginia Tech, I don't even know what Virginia Tech is doing.
Clemson, not cool. You know, it is cool. Got to give them respect. Tip cap, Tennessee Volunteers. Brutal loss, but they got a squad. They got a quarterback, and they probably should have won that game. Yeah,
absolutely. That it's a tough morning, and if you wake up as a Notre Dame fan because the season's kind of over, which it's a really, really weird feeling that those games were stacked 1 and 2 like that. I love teams that play teams to start the year, but that was a little strange because now it's like, well, fuck, what does a win against USC in week 8 really mean? But Tennessee, man, I almost in a weird way, even though Notre Dame season's over, I think if you wake up as a Tennessee fan, you probably feel worse, right?
Yeah, I mean, you missed a kick to beat Georgia. I think Georgia's a big demon for anybody in the SEC, especially Tennessee, Florida, somebody like that. And you had your chance to beat them with a kick. It's pretty fucking brutal.
Yep. Good morning, Shady Beef. Listen, I didn't have a great day yesterday. Steak did have a good day. I saw your picket calendar. Nice job. Hella units on LSU. It was always the Go Tigers. I did point out it was crazy how many people were on Florida +7, Arkansas +7.5, which came through, and then Duke. All right, Dookie. All right, Green Day, Dookie. I don't know what to tell you guys. Stop betting on a fucking $8 million quarterback that leaves from Tulane to goes to Duke. All right, I don't know what else to tell you. Didn't have the balls double down on that one because I got Duke's under win total, so that was big. Needed it. Okay,
that's laugh, dude. That's laugh. Damn dog.
Yeah. He's awesome. He's awesome. All right, we're rolling. We got TikTok up and running. Please like the stream. If you're in here, we're going to talk props. Cam is Money should be joining us shortly. And let's get into the board. But we'll take our time. We'll go nice and slow, like Usher always says. If you are in Twitch, make sure you're following the page. If you're in YouTube, like the stream. Helps the algorithm, helps us grow. We appreciate you watching us on a platform we monetize. If you're in Twitter, you can hang out. Feel free. See, we got almost 200 eyeballs over there on Twitter. If you guys want to come into Twitch or YouTube, we do appreciate it. Hey, did the bald guy bet the Dolphins again?
If I do, you know what it is, Sandy.
Oh yeah, I heard you.
About it. If I do, you won't know about it.
I heard you. All right, and if you have any fantasy questions, listen, they're gonna come in. It is what it is. TikTok loves the fantasy questions. TikTok's getting thick right now. Like the stream if you're in here. Follow the page. We appreciate you. But if you do want to come over and Twitch or Twitter, the link's in the bio. W Budman. Yep. Okay. Let's get into it. Cam is Money should be joining us shortly. Again, he is on the West Coast. We appreciate him joining. Steak, do you have the touchdown graphic made or no?
Oh yeah, I do. It's gonna get posted right after the stream.
Oh, okay, great. I'm on George Pickens. My guy, my teammate is oh god, you don't want to look at my fucking picky calendar yesterday. So, boy, I'm about to share my screen. You're going to see it. I don't have a choice. Oh boy. I got hooked. By the way, don't get cute with a team total with a team like Arkansas State. That was so stupid. And then fucking Kentucky with the backdoor again. Oh, boy, let's just get ahead of this.
Getting backdoored.
Oh, worst day of the month. Beautiful Saturday last week. Horrible Saturday yesterday. Well, that's what happens. You know, I was touting myself a little bit. Oh my God, somebody in here, somebody in TikTok. See, this is abusing. Bobby, what are you doing over here? Ricky or Myers? What does that even mean? What does Ricky or Myers mean? Ricky Pearsall or Jacoby Myers?
Ricky or Myers? It definitely means Ricky Pearsall or Jacoby Myers. I'll go Jacoby Myers today.
Jacoby Myers. There you go. ETN.
Bad news, dude. You see now Trent Williams might not play?
Yeah, I think I heard that all week.
God, this.
Yeah, it's not good. Not good. Another guy said ETN or Breece Hall. That's a tough one.
Breece
Hall. Dolphins or Patriots? Oh boy, there we go. TikTok. Once you give them one, they just don't stop. They don't stop. Listen, we're talking props, okay? But we will pay attention to the fantasy questions. Everybody
Fins up.
Look who we got bright and early. How we doing, Cam? Good to see you.
Let's go.
Nothing better than hanging out with the unks at 6 a.m., man. I'm excited.
By the way, I got a question. When we have three of us, is this better or is this better?
I'd say the first thing. That's way better.
This is better, right?
Yeah.
With how much Steak moves his head, this is way better.
Oh my God. Okay, thank you. Because I was like, listen, Steak's not going to keep his head in that fucking narrow window, so I might as well just figure out another alternative. That is a beautiful Colts polo. Cam, is that the only Colts polo in the state of California?
Yeah, my wife was, once she got with me and was like starting to learn the Colts way, I had to take away from the Cowboys family. Because that's all there is out here, unfortunately. It's like she was like, I cannot find your team absolutely anywhere. I was like, yeah, you're going to shop online.
That looks like something you got on Etsy.
Yeah. But no, we got a couple here.
All right. Well, if you're not familiar with Cam, Cam, your Twitter handle is not Cam is Money, isn't it? Cam is Money with a number in it. Is it 8 or 18? 18. Cam is Money 18. Follow him on Twitter. I'll share your Twitter link. I know you don't give too much of a shit, but it can't hurt. Cam is what we consider to be a ball knower, and we always appreciate being joined by a ball knower up here. So let's get into it. Cam sold me. Oh God, Jesus! I thought that said Trent, like Trent Williams. That does not. That's an F, not a T. Hey, we're sweeping the board. Probably not, but that would be cool. All right, let's get into it. First game that I'm seeing on the slate here is the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. Right after somebody asked Breece Hall or Travis Etienne, I talked about one of my biggest overreactions being wanting to buy into Breece Hall and this Jets running game this season. I looked at him to lead the league in rushing at 18-1. I still like him and the Jets running game to have success this week. I don't like them to have success next week in the Bucs home opener against that Todd Bowles defense. We'll talk about that obviously another time. But for now, with the Jets playing the Bills, I don't know what to think of this game. Money's coming in on the Jets. Cam, I saw your tweet earlier in the week. People had 7, 6.5. It's down to 6. I think you got the Jets. It's 8 or 7.5. That was a button you pressed early in the week. So you got to like something about the Jets coming into this game or something you don't like about the Bills. Is there anything that I'll let you start this one off? Is there anything that you're looking to attack in the prop market?
Yeah, I mean, I played the Jets +8 while I was watching the Bills and Ravens game. I mean, when you're watching Derrick Henry running crazy like that, I mean, the Jets, all they're going to want to do is run the ball. And after getting pounded by Derrick Henry for 4 quarters, literally the whole game, I don't see like the Bills defense coming in, very, very healthy into this game, having to, now face Justin Fields and Brees Hall and this rushing attack. I think Braylon Allen's going to get a little bit more involved. So it was hard for me to pick a specific Jets player for a prop just because I think they're all going to have some type of rushing success because even Lamar is running crazy out there. So I just think the Jets offense as a whole, plus, when I got the 8 points, for whatever reason, besides last year, the Bills always do kind of struggle when they head down and play the Jets at home. So I just think it's going to be kind of more of a slugfest. I think the Bills offense is going to struggle a little bit. So I do kind of lean to the under as well. That's why I took the +8 because if you like the under, take the points of the underdog. So it's hard for me to get their props though because I'm not expecting too much points from both sides. I'm kind of expecting like a grinded out type of game. But I am playing Brees Hall and a couple of like DraftKings type of lineups and like that fantasy type of lineups. But if I was to have to take a player prop, it'd be Brees Hall for sure. Just ride the hot hand.
Yeah. One thing I really liked, I didn't watch much of that Bills Ravens game. Steak, I'll let you talk next, but the Baltimore Ravens, I'm looking at the box score right now. Henry had 18 carries for 169 yards, a 49-yard rush. Typically, you'd say that would skew the stats, but it really doesn't because you take that away, you still got 120 yards on 17 carries. In total, the Ravens had 29 carries, 238 yards, 8.2 yards per carry, and 3 rushing touchdowns against the Bills defense. And then on the flip side, the Jets had 39 carries, 182 yards, only 4.7 yards per carry, but 3 rushing touchdowns against the Steelers defense. But I thought what was pretty impressive, if you look at the box score, if you watch the game, I thought Justin Fields was one of the more impressive players in overall in Sunday, along with your boy Daniel Jones. But if you look at the receivers, this is what I liked. They had 4 different receivers with catches of 20 plus yards. So Mason Taylor had a catch for 20. Tyler Johnson had 24. Brees Hall had a 23-yard catch, and Garrett Wilson had that 33-yard catch. Like, they're not playing super dink and dunk. They were still able to throw the ball. So I thought the running game did a really good job of opening that up. 19 carries, 107 yards for Brees Hall with an 18-yard rush. Steak, how you think about or first of all, I know we're not talking spreads and totals too much on Prop Talk, but did you decide to get involved with this game? I think you like the under.
I like the under in the Jets, which makes it a really unfun game to talk about props, kind of like Cam already touched on.
Sure.
Every prop I look at, I think is alarmingly low, which makes me like the under more. Like, what idiot isn't tapping Josh Allen over 231.5 yards or Keon Coleman over 43.5 yards? And obviously those hit all the time, but like everything looks too easy, even wanting to attack Brees Hall again. Cause like, I like Cam's read. I think Brees Hall could have another really big game, but 60.5 feels kind of crazy low considering what he did last week. I think it's the most interesting prop for me in this game is the fact that Josh Allen's 231.5 passing yards, and also Khalil Shakir's 48.5 receiving, and then Keon Coleman, who had like 9 catches for 112 yards last week, is at 43.5. Only 13 higher than Josh Palmer, who did catch 5 for 60 last week, but nobody fucking likes Josh Palmer. So yeah, this won't be the one I'm excited to talk props about. If anything, I would go under 231.5 Josh Allen and under 43.5 Keon Coleman if I took props in this game, but I like Jets in the under.
Even Josh Allen's passing touchdowns open up like 1.5 minus 110. And then Keon Coleman, I know you say he's at 43.5, but he opened up in the 30s. For his receiving yards. That's what shocked me, man. Like, after like watching his performance on Sunday Night Football, over 100 yards and everything like that, and these props open so low, like, I just think this game is going to be ugly.
It's also interesting he did all that in the second half.
So I'm looking at the Bills box score here. Yeah, Keon Coleman, 8 catches, 112 yards. So how many of these passing yards came in the fourth quarter? 265?
At least.
Bro, literally, he had close to 300 yards in the fourth quarter.
Can the Jets win this game?
I don't think it's that crazy, but I just think it's close, and Bills squeak one out at the end.
All of Coleman's work came in the second half. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna move on. Not a ton we love in this game because we do lean under. I'm with you ultimately on probably Jets or nothing here. I can't get out of my head that the Bills, for whatever reason, they go into MetLife. Yeah, it was early in the season. It was week 1 too when we went when Aaron Rodgers went down and Zach Wilson still beat him. So nothing for me in this game at all. I'm probably just going to watch Breece Hall run for another 100+ yards, get a worse number on rushing leader for the NFL. Wait to take it at 10-1 instead of 18-1. That's my plan. All right,
just like I did with the Jets. Cam's got them +8, and I'm gonna fucking take them +6.
Winner's a winner. Winner's a winner. It won't matter when they win by 30. All right, let's go to Rams Titans. This game has my whole brain in a pretzel. I feel like every time the Rams leave LA and they play outside, you just immediately think about fading them. No matter, because I remember last year when they were playing the Patriots, I think that line was around 5 and it went down to 3, and I still took the Patriots. I think it was one of our best bets, and watching that game was not fun. Watching that game was not fun. The Patriots had a chance to cover. They didn't. It was a loss, but Matt Stafford was just slicing them up, and the Rams offense is just not fun to fade. Now, the Tennessee Titans defense, I think we respect a little bit more than the average person. Cam, I don't know if you ended up betting on the Titans this year. I like Cam Ward. I'm not freaking out over 1 week against the Broncos D, your rookie debut in Mile High. He did not have a good showing. However, the team didn't have a good showing. Brian Callahan looks like a fucking bozo. This has to be a pretty big bounce back. I know this sounds silly for a Tennessee Titans team. They got a 5.5, 6.5 win total. They don't have much expectations, but it's your home opener. The fans are going to be excited. You got the Rams coming in after a grinded out victory over the Houston Texans. They won, 14-9. And they got a game on the road next week at Philly. So I know it's early in the season, but it's still kind of a weird spot. I feel like the Titans look like they could be a fun contrarian live dog, but then I have a feeling we're going to watch this game and it's going to be like 21-6 Rams, and I'm going to be regretting this decision. But at the same time, I kind of like offense. I don't know if I'm going over or under in this game, but I'm down to play some touchdown scorers. The Rams are going to get in. The Rams are going to score 3, if not 4 touchdowns in this game. This is the way I like to look at it. So who's it going to be? Is it going to be chalk with Kyren Williams? Maybe, but I think Matt Stafford can get some. So I think he's going to have at least 2 touchdown passes. I know Puka's my guy. He didn't get in the end zone last week. He had 10 catches for 130 yards, I believe. Maybe I'm getting cute here, but I like Davante Adams to score. He's on my list of touchdown scorers. I think I'm probably going to get involved with like a half unit. And on the Tennessee Titans side, I don't know. What I think I need to see more of this offense before I play this offense. Calvin Ridley's been in the on Twitter. I saw an interview post game with him, or maybe it was during midweek in practice, where a Tennessee Titans reporter, a couple of them, were just kept asking the same question about the drops. Hey, how do you feel? What do you do after a game like that? Do you apologize to Cam, after those drops? And it was actually hilarious. Like a minute and a half straight questions about him dropping. This is an obvious bounce back spot for Calvin Ridley, you'd think, with catches or yards. And then on the flip side, I like Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard's just a dude like under the radar. He'll get you 60, 70 rushing yards. Maybe a longest rush attempt would be a cheeky play here, or just to find the end zone. I don't know. I'm done rambling about this game. I think Davante Adams to score would be my favorite bet. I'll pull up odds in a second. Steak, what do you got in this?
I'm gonna trust my reads. I know continuing to fade the Rams is stupid, but I wasn't that impressed with them last week. I was more unimpressed with the Houston Texans, who appear to have not improved their offensive line at all, which was one of the worst in the NFL last year.
Yeah.
And CJ Stroud looked a lot more like year 2 CJ Stroud than year 1 CJ Stroud, which is a problem, but we're not talking about them. I like Calvin Ridley over 4.5 receptions, not just because it's an easy bounce back spot. I like the way he even handled the questions when he was repeatedly asked about the drops. And also, it has to be Calvin Ridley. Like, I know people like Iominor and Chig, but somebody has to be a wide receiver 1 on this team, and it has to be Calvin Ridley. I actually really like your Davante Adams touchdown read. He would be my favorite scorer for the Rams. And then I think Tony Pollard gets in today, -125. Obviously, nothing super fun about a -125 touchdown scorer, but he's going in my parlays for sure.
All right. I got Puka Nacua. Or no, I'm sorry. Davante Adams is +170 on FanDuel to have a touchdown. Cam, what do you think? Your divisional opponent here, the Tennessee Titans. and then you're a West Coast guy. Maybe you know the Rams a little bit more. Although I'm just kidding. That probably doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play anything in this game either. I had Calvin Ridley. I'm on him for his season-long receiving yards, so I had this circled as a bounce-back spot for him going into the week. But the more I looked at it, I just didn't get there with the bet slip because they held Nico Collins to 2 catches, 20 yards. They completely eliminated him from week 1 of all the double teams they threw at him. And I kind of think the Texans' offense and the Titans, I mean, not very similar, but the wide receiver room kind of right now, very similar. Where, outside Calvin Ridley, what wide receiver do you trust in the Tennessee Titans? It's probably nobody right now, like kind of Steak was hinting towards. So why would the Rams just not throw double teams at Calvin Ridley all game 2 and eliminate him out of the game plan for the Tennessee Titans? So I think one of the young guys is going to have to step up. I see a lot of people I trust in the industry on Al Miner today, his receiving yards. And I know some people are laddering him, but I still wasn't too impressed with his week 1 performance. I mean, it's kind of just a jump ball type of guy, so he's going to have to make those plays. He did have a big catch against the Broncos where I sent you that video where, Brian Callahan doesn't even know what a catch is in the NFL, which, kind of alarming to me. So, I didn't back the Titans season long just because I don't trust Callahan and that staff right now. I think Cam Ward's super talented. But I think you're going to get a lot of big spreads like you did last week, Titans +9. So I'd rather just take the Titans in single bullets and stuff like that. But I completely agree with your Devonta Adams touchdown play. I have him in a couple parlays just because the Titans ran so much 2-man coverage. And, who else do you want in the red zone of man coverage than Devonta Adams? Stafford didn't practice at all in training camp or anything like that. He sat out basically till week 1. So I think that Rams offense didn't really show their true form. Obviously, week 1, which nobody did because every under hit besides the one I played, I think, in Buffalo and Baltimore. But I think both teams went over that total individually. But I think Devontae is going to get into the end zone today, and everyone's going to start buying some Devontae stock. So I think you're right on getting there early.
Yeah. The Aomanar had 7 targets and only 2 catches for what it's worth.
He's going to blow one of these games, and I see, like Cam said, Sharps are trying to catch it. It could be today. It really could.
Yep. 8 targets. He only had 2 catches for 13 yards. Calvin Ridley had 8 targets. And then I heard, or I saw Time of J said Chig. He had 4 targets, 3 catches, 19 yards. Not a whole lot, but I like him. I like him as a player. Tyler Lockett only got 1 look. Maybe he's just there to be a veteran in the locker room. I wouldn't try to get cute with him. Tony Pollard had 18 carries, 60 yards, 3.3 yards per carry. They did try to get the run game going, and it didn't. Would be interested to see if he can bust one today. For whatever reason, I like Tony Pollard, and I like him at home. So I feel like a longest rush would be a cheeky spot for me. Devontae Adams to score. And then the last thing, I think we can move on from this game. We do have a couple fantasy questions coming in real quick. These are good. Tyreek Hill or George Pickens?
Well, that is good. Tyreek Hill.
Cam?
I go Pickens.
I'm Pickens. I go Pickens there.
A lot of cover 1 from the New York Giants, man. I think Pickens gets a big one today.
Hollywood or Pearsall?
Just volume-wise, give me Hollywood because there's no one else playing receiver.
Sure.
I agree.
Sure. Hunter Henry or Njoku?
You know what? I'll just say Hunter Henry because I think Harold Fannin is fucking going to be very involved.
T-Mac or Pickens? Who the fuck is T-Mac?
Tet
McMillan.
Oh.
Tet McMillan.
Yeah.
Okay.
You draft Tet McMillan high to play him, so I'm a big fan of drafting the guys who play high.
Somebody's asking me to pick 3. That's too many questions. Sorry. I like just one player or the other. Mike Evans or Travion Henderson? Last one.
Evans in Houston, man. Might be his last time he plays there.
Yep. Great narrative. Okay. Pickens.
You can't bench Mike Evans, dude.
Yeah.
No, you can't bench Mike Evans. By the way, I like the Bucs today. We'll talk about that. Okay, let's move on.
The last thing I'll say about the Rams and Titans before we move on,
Sure.
You don't get like sack props until the day of, so I'm kind of waiting to see what you get for Jared Verse because the Rams had 3 sacks week 1. Verse wasn't one of them, so I think Verse gets a sack today. So if you can get some juicy plus money on that, I'll be on that because that Titans O-line got abused by Denver.
Yeah,
Jared Verse is a freak.
I think Cam Ward. Yep, he got sacked 6 times. That's a good look. Maybe Cam Ward, did he rush? No, he didn't run one time.
Tony Pollard had a 30-yard catch, by the way.
Yes, he did. Yep.
Cam Ward did a lot of running, but he was running backwards.
He's running backwards, right? 12 for 28, 112 yards for Cam Ward, and not accounting for about 5 drops, maybe another, I don't know, 80 yards passing. So if you go over that 199 or 190, whatever it is today, I don't think that's a bad look. Help, Stranger Andrews, and why? Can't give you the why. I'll just tell you this: Strange. No, Andrews.
I'll go Brenton Strange. I don't know. Mark Andrews disappears for games at a time.
It is unbelievable how much TikTok loves asking fantasy questions. Our viewership just doubled as soon as I answered some. DJen, will you apologize for Notre Dame? No, you got to spell it right at least. Okay, let's move on. Next game, Cleveland and Baltimore. Not a whole lot for me on this one. I like the Browns this year, over 5.5 wins. I didn't play it. I'm soft. I think that this is not a game they're going to win, but at the same time, who wants to bet against the divisional dog system with a guy like Joe Flacco and a good defense like Baltimore? I think the spread is really telling. I think it opened 12.5 and it got down to 11 or 11.5, if I'm not mistaken. Nothing for me on this. You'd think it's going to be an ugly game. The total's 45, but at the end of the day, it could be one of those weird things that we see when we fast forward a few weeks. All these games go under except the one you don't expect, like the Jets Steelers last week. So we could shockingly see some points in this game. If we do, Flacco revenge game. You heard it here first. That's true. That's true. Completely forgot it's a Joe Flacco revenge game. If Joe Flacco has already played for the Cleveland Browns, he's probably already been to Baltimore and played, right? Or because I know he didn't play like a full season, so maybe he missed that game. Is this Joe Flacco's first time playing back in Baltimore with Cleveland?
Yes.
No shit. Okay.
And they played like the 3 games for the Browns and then went to the playoffs.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay. So that's crazy. Isn't that when he won Comeback Player of the Year?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if this is his first game into Baltimore, I have no problem leaning into that. I still respect this Baltimore Ravens roster and team way too much. I understand they let Buffalo come back and win. It's still Buffalo in Buffalo on a primetime game. I think that there's no reason the Ravens shouldn't beat the piss out of the Browns. Again, this will be one of those ones you feel good about Cleveland with the points. Then you look up and it's the Ravens are winning 28-7. I got nothing. So I'll just stop talking. Cam, you got anything in this game?
Listen, man, the Cleveland Browns, like, they're my one spot I circled today that I didn't play, but if I'm going to have my biggest regret, it's going to be get them. I texted you guys both weeks ago before week 1. Going into week 1, my biggest play was going to be the Browns plus 5.5 against the Bengals.
Yep, you did.
For a lot of reasons. But when you look at the Cleveland Browns, they intrigue me so much. I really think they're one of the most mispriced teams in the betting market, because you talk about last year, they had historically some of the worst quarterback play I've ever seen. Dorian Thompson-Robinson played most of the season, and I'm just right down the street from UCLA. I don't know one UCLA fan that liked him at UCLA, and now I never thought that guy would be getting NFL snaps. So, and when you look at the Baltimore Ravens, man, that defense, they're not scary anymore. Zachary Orr, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great locker room teammate whenever he was a linebacker back in the day, but I don't think he should be the defensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens, as his first defensive coordinator job. And they really haven't been impressive. Last year, their defense wasn't as good as, the Ravens has been in the past. And, you're hoping they step up, this year, but obviously the Bills is a tough team to draw week 1. So you don't want to right the ship on them right away. But Roquan Smith, what happened to that guy? That guy that guy used to flash around the field, make plays all the time. And when I was watching him week 1, he was nowhere to be found. So I just think when you talk about, I know the line was at 12.5 for a little bit, earlier in the week. I think it's 11.5 now. But, I think obviously Joe Flacco is not an elite quarterback anymore. But when you talk about him being over Dorian Thompson-Robinson and Jameis Winston's a fun quarterback, but he's not going to go win you games. It's going to be fun in the losing fashion. So I think this Browns defense is fucking nasty. I think, Harold Fanning, a lot of people didn't think he'd translate to the NFL, be, the most historically accoladed tight end in the history of college football. And I think he's a stud. I know Junkins comes back today, but he'll probably play a couple of snaps. I think Dylan Sampson's, a solid running back. So I think the Browns have talent everywhere. I just think the quarterback position, they can't figure it out. So I think Joe Flacco is going to be, at least solid for what they need until they go into the Dylan Gabriel route, which not huge on for it in the NFL. So It's really hard for me not to get through the Browns. I think I'm really going to regret it. I did play Jerry Jeudy over receiving yards at 56.5. When you looked up, you brought up that Bills box score a little bit ago. Keon Coleman 120 yards, went over his receiving pop. Khalil Shakir, who I'm a big fan of, you guys know that. He didn't practice at all in preseason and training camp or anything like that because he pulled his hamstring. He had hamstring issues. He suited up week 1, had like 68 yards. Josh Palmer went over his receiving yards. All these wide receivers went over the receiving yards. They soared against the Baltimore Ravens. Now you can say, hey, it was a lot of fourth quarter magic, but the box scores are there. So I think Joe Flacco is going to find some success in the passing game. I think the running game is going to be really behind. And you talk about 12.5 spread. You're talking about a team passing majority of the game. So, Jerry Jeudy's been playing a lot of bulletin board material on the Ravens defense this week. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they asked him, what is it like playing the Ravens? He was like, there's nothing special about them. So Kyle Hamilton, some guys like that has some things to say, but I still think Jerry Jeudy's going to feast. I still think he's going to get his. And to be honest, when you talk about fantasy questions, you talk about the Browns, I'm okay with playing all their starters with Joe Flacco. And, I watched a couple starts with Joe Flacco last year. The guy just wakes up and throws for 300 yards. It might not be pretty. It might not be always as efficient as you want it, but he's going to get his. So the wide receivers and the tight ends are going to get theirs too. So I think you're still getting some of these market prices on these Browns players that you would got last year with their passing attack, which I think is going to take a step forward. So I think now is the time to attack them before the books adjust.
I don't know if I've ever heard a better Browns pitch in my entire life.
I mean, yeah, that was really good. I hate that. I agree. I liked everything I saw from the Browns. They should have won that game. If they had a kicker, they do win that game. And on top of it, I like everything they did. Like, they have 3 rookie running backs. I know Quinshon Judkins didn't play last week. They have the Harold Fannin, like you said. I mean, how old could Cedric Tillman be? And if you're the Browns and you obviously you're a long shot to make the playoffs, you're probably not going to compete. Like, get the rookies involved. Carson Schlesinger, the kid from UCLA, 3rd round, balled out. I think the most disappointing rookie was the Mason Graham. I think he did a whole lot of nothing. But I like Cedric Tillman more than Jerry Jeudy. I like him a lot this year. I like his prop today too. I like that they got him in the end zone last week. And then I think I don't know if it was Cade or somebody had a good point. I really liked what I saw from Dylan Sampson, but I think pretty soon it is going to be Quinshon Judkins' show. And I think this could be the last week if you wanted to buy into Dylan Sampson, maybe anytime touchdown, maybe over 33.5 yards, even though he had a ton of receiving yards last week, which I thought was interesting. I think if you wanted to buy into Dylan Sampson for one more week, this is your last chance. So I really agree with Cade there. Joey Stump really likes 300 plus from Joe Flacco. I think it's at like plus 325. I don't think that's that crazy either, to be completely honest. Game script certainly adds up. You got to assume he's going to be throwing a ton. He already throws a ton anyways. They had the lead a large portion of that game against the Bengals, and he threw a ton. But yeah, favorite plays, sprinkling a Sampson touchdown and Cedric Tillman over 46.5.
Do either one of you know how many yards the Bengals had in the second half against the Browns?
It's crazy.
7. We'll give them that
7.
one.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give them that one extra yard. But that's the Bengals offense, most talent in football. I think we can agree when you talk about a talent standpoint. So I mean, this Browns defense, man, I don't think they're getting the respect they deserve.
You're right. They might not be. I just have a strange feeling that the Ravens could be so good that they can put up points against any defense they play. And I don't want to forget the fact. I mean, I know they lost that game, but they were still in Baltimore or in Buffalo through 3 quarters, and they put up 40 points and had a two score lead, and were just dominating that game. Again, I was asleep and not watching it, but that's crazy to me. But I'm with you though. I mean, I'm with you. I respect the Browns. Sampson, if anybody cares, a touchdown right now on DraftKings is plus 225. Jeudy to get in the end zone is plus 290, and Fannin to score is plus 425.
Oh, sorry. Last thing, because we talked about Fannin, but we didn't talk about his lines. David Njoku is supposed to be a top 5 fantasy tight end this year. His line is 42.5. Fannin, after the week 1 involvement, is at 36.5. I think that only tells you one thing. They want this guy involved in the offense. And I think if Fannin is a stock you could buy really low right now, because I will not be shocked when you start seeing this guy's lines in the 50s.
Sure. And you're right. Yeah, we forgot about that. Cam brought up the bulletin board material from Jerry Jeudy, we did not hear about the bulletin board material from the Browns defense. They were saying that taking down Derrick Henry is not too hard. Grant Delpit, I think.
And I agree. Flynn, a 12 feels like a ton in this game. I really does. I don't know if that's a duping, but it feels like a ton.
Browns money line would be tough. Is DGen running it back with Jerome Ford? Fuck.
Jerome Ford is dead. Rest in peace.
Yeah. If I took anything away from last week's prop talk, it was that trying to plant any sort of flag on a Jerome Ford hill was maybe one of the dumbest things I've ever tried to do in my life. So no thanks on Jerome Ford. Okay. I mean, that's about as good as we can do with the Browns Ravens in a 12.5 point spread. Good job, fellas. Let's go to the next game here. Oh, here's another disgusting one. We'll get it out of the way. Niners and Saints. I don't really know what to think about this game given the injuries. So Steak, you were just talking about it. Trent Williams is hurt. I think that's been talked about for the majority of the week. You can get the Saints now at no, the Niners are about 3 at most places, minus 110. Total in this one's 40. We do talk about it all the time with in the past of buying bad news and also obvious under games that go over. Could this potentially be one of them? Maybe. I don't know that I'm buying into it. Maybe it's super square, but I like Robert Salah in the Niners defense. Don't necessarily know that I like the depth chart and the roster. I do have Mykel Williams as my defensive rookie of the year, but I love teams that address their needs. And one of the biggest needs that the Niners needed from last season was a serious defense. And they're always riddled with injuries, but if you have good coordinators and good schemes, you can get away with whoever's on your roster because they make the players better. The guys they've had in the past since DeMeco Ryans, not good. Steve Wilkes was not that guy. I think Robert Salah, say what you want about as a coach, I think he's going to be a fantastic defensive coordinator. I think it was a great move from the Niners defense. In this game, in the mindset of the players, you'd have to think going into New Orleans, a team you know you're better than, you're down your quarterback, you're down a couple other players. I think the defensive unit is the one that's going to step up. My cheeky touchdown play of the day would be the Niners defense to score. I don't know how else to play anything else in the prop market here. Mac Jones is going to come in and start. I believe that is confirmed. And Steak, it is confirmed. Okay. Steak, you were saying in the offseason that you think Mac Jones is one of the best backup quarterbacks in the NFL. So I feel like you got to put your money where your mouth is here and take him in some way, shape, or form, whether that's touchdown passes, yards, or something. It's hard to know. It's hard to know what to expect. But we know, if anything, I mean, that I don't think Shanahan's record's very good win-losses with guys like Nick Mullins and fucking CJ Beathard. But it is a little plug and play, the quarterback position for this offense. Mac's an experienced guy. He's not the worst quarterback I've ever seen. He can probably get in there and make some plays. So I don't hate it. I really don't hate it. Or is it just chalk city with CMC having an insane game? He looked pretty good last week. I think he had, I don't know if he scored, but I think he did pretty well in terms of yards.
He didn't score, but he had like 30 touches.
Yep. What do you think about this one, Steak, Mr. Mac Jones?
I got a little cheeky parlay. I want to hear what you guys think. Spencer Rattler is minus 164 to throw an interception. He had no turnovers last week. He will have one today. I'm not laying minus 164. That's lame. So I parlayed it with CMC touchdown. That's minus 172. It's like plus 130 or plus 140 or something. Spencer Rattler interception with CMC touchdown.
That's pretty. I like that. That's like that's not too square, but it's kind of square.
It's square. I think it's as square as I'm going to get today, if I'm being completely honest. And I also kind of want to square up and bet the 49ers.
I don't hate it. The only thing that I keep thinking back to is like this: the Saints do get weird. The Saints get weird, but I'm also thinking back to last season, and it's a whole different regime. Like that Clint Kubiak offense in those first 2 weeks scoring 90 points was crazy. But the Saints were mucking it up before they were decimated and half their roster got injuries. So it's just a weird team to fade. The other thing to think about too with the Niners, I don't know how early you want to start talking about look ahead spots, but this is a pretty tough scheduling spot just in terms of they were on the road last week playing the Seahawks. Now they're on the road with this weird game against the Saints before they go home and play the Cardinals. So you want to call it sandwich, whatever. I don't know. I'm not getting there. Your team like the Niners with a chip on your shoulder, you sucked last season. Every win is important. I'm not saying they're going to go in and lollygag in this game, especially with all the injuries. But again, you just look up and it's like 13-10 Saints. There could be reasons why, and that could be one of those reasons. Cam, you got anything with the Niners Saints?
Yeah, I mean, I played the Saints plus 6.5 at the opener, but
Oh,
it was before a lot of the injury news and stuff like that because I just kind of like the spot for the Saints going
yep.
into it. You kind of just mentioned it. When I looked at the schedule for the 49ers, I know a lot of people in the industry were big on them for their season long overs and stuff like that. But week one at Seattle, West Coast teams usually don't travel well across country. So now after playing a divisional opponent at home, they escape with that win. And again, they probably should have lost, if we're being honest. Now they go down to New Orleans right before they come back home and play Arizona, another divisional game. So I just think, you're talking about a West Coast team traveling, going over and playing, a 1:00 game. At the Saints, I think it was a sneaky spot for them to get upset. And now, if all the injury news and everything like that, that's not really a hot topic anymore. But just don't see many points from either side in this game. And I think as long as Spencer Rattler stays as conservative as possible, he didn't throw the interception in week one. I think Kellen Moore did a good job at keeping things open, a lot more, dump offs, a lot more quick things and stuff like that. I really respect Kellen Moore as a play caller. And I think he's going to make Rattler's job as easy as possible. And I think the Saints defense looked pretty solid against the Cardinals week one. So, Brock Purdy, I have a lot of strong opinions about him, but to be fair, that man didn't have a lot of people to throw to week one, and he was trying to make the most of it. And he threw that, that floater in the end zone that the tight end somehow caught. Tariq Woolen's probably the worst CB I've ever seen in my life. The couple plays he gave up late in that fourth quarter, but. You think Matt Jones is going to make some of these guys step up? Tight ends we never heard of. He has Ricky Pearsall, who I think sole wide receiver. Juwan Jennings is back, but besides that, I just think McCaffrey's going to get another 30, 40 touches. They're going to run this guy into the ground as much as possible. He didn't score last week. I lived it because he's the only person in my touchdown parlay that didn't hit after getting 32 touches, and I think he had 16 red zone touches. It was insane.
Yeah, he was.
I just think they're going to feed McCaffrey. I think Kyle Shanahan's going to, keep Matt Jones' life as easy as possible and this feeds C-Mac. So if I was to play anything for a prop, it would be C-Mac touchdown. I played it last week because it was minus 125. Last year, or when this guy's healthy, he's going to be in the minus 200 going. So I was trying to be the sneaky guy to get a week early, but, I think it definitely comes this week.
So a couple things to point out. You mentioned Brock Purdy didn't have a lot of guys to throw to last week. You're absolutely right. Pearsall, 4 catches, 108 yards. After that, CMC, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Jake Tongs, Luke Farrell, Brian Robinson Jr. There's not a real clear-cut wide receiver out there except for second-year Ricky Pearsall. CMC with 10 targets. Kittle's on the IR too. He had 4 catches, 25, so maybe a little cheeky Jake Tongs action. He had 3 targets, 3 catches, 15 yards and a touchdown.
He's the duping, just so you know. He's the duping.
He's the duping?
Yeah, in my opinion, Luke Farrell outsnapped him last week, and I think Tonjes is just sticking in everybody's head because George Kittle's on the IR, and he caught that crazy touchdown, but I think he's the duping of the week, to be honest.
Cam is a W guest. Yes, Cam is a ball knower. We appreciate him taking the time. Again, he's on the West Coast, so it's 6:46 on a Sunday morning. We appreciate it, man. Thank you. The last thing I wanted to point out, somebody said it, Spencer Rattler rushing yards. He did have 4 carries for 29 yards. And Kellen Moore threw the ball 46 times with Spencer Rattler, 27 to 46, 214 yards, did not get very many passes or that deep. Only 1 catch for 20 plus yards one was Juwan Johnson for 21, and he was their leading receiver, 8 catches, 76 yards. Olave, I think he might be hurt. Shaheed, 6 catches, 33 yards. I didn't do much with him, but he did have 9 targets. So the guy I would look for that nobody's really talking about for a bounce back, I guess you could say, is Kamara. I don't think Kamara's washed. He's still a guy I like to target. I played the shit out of him last year. A couple weekly specials got close to, but 11 carries, 45 yards, not bad. He had an 18-yard rush, and he only had 2 catches. So that's not a lot. I think Kamara is going to be leaned on a little bit more in this game, and I think he's going to be more productive. Yeah, I would probably get in on Kamara for a touchdown. He did score last week, for what it's worth. Go ahead, Steak.
One last read, because I got to mention it, because I mentioned it yesterday in college football, and it worked, so I'm going to say it again. Yesterday, I said a game quarterbacked by C.J. Carr and Marcel Reed shouldn't have a higher over-under than a game quarterbacked by Garrett Nussmeier and DJ Lagway. Obviously, Notre Dame soars over. Gators, LSU go under. I'm having the same kind of feeling here. a game quarterbacked by Spencer Rattler and Mac Jones with a bunch of pieces missing for the Niners should not have a higher over-under than Steelers Seahawks with Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold. I understand it's Aaron Rodgers and Sam Darnold. It's not Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I still think it's crazy. For some reason, I really think this Niners Saints game squeaks over or soars over.
Fair enough. Okay. A couple of fantasy questions real quick. Kamara or ETN?
Kamara or ETN. Yeah, that's it. It depends if you really want to buy into that ETN from last week happening again. I'll say ETN.
I swear people are asking me Hunter Henry or Njoku like as a joke. There's just no way you need someone else to answer that question for you. You want fucking ham or bologna? DK or Olave? Probably got to go DK there. I think Olave's hurt. This is a good one. J.K. Dobbins or Dylan Sampson?
That's hard. What do you think, Cam?
JK.
JK? I thought you were going to say Sampson.
DM me, Ron Mux. DM me. I'll take it for sure. As long as it doesn't start.
Ibuka or Tet McMillan?
Tet.
Chase Brown or ETN?
Chase Brown.
You drafted Chase Brown like the second or third round, bro.
Well, fuck you,
this is why I get mad, man. Like,
this is why I get mad too. I'm fucking
pissed.
That's it, TikTok. No more for now. All right, let's move on. Here's another game that I'm intrigued by, but I decided I'm going to stay away from it. You know, I've got a new rule, and I want to make something very clear. There's not a lot of people out there, if any at all, that I specifically go out and fade. Okay, I like to make my own decisions. If we're on the same side, great. If I'm on the opposite side of somebody, it is what it is. I have taken a liking to Sandy from Owner's Box lately. I think his persona, his personality, everything has gotten it's very entertaining. I don't know if he's in here right now, but there's something I'm going to monitor. All right, and I'm not betting against this, but if there is a disgusting bet where 10 years ago myself would be giddy as fuck, probably make it my best bet, my POD, tell everybody in my group chat to play. If that bet is what Sandy is in love with, I'm going to stay away from it. I'm going to keep track on how many times it comes through, because I have a feeling that he's setting himself up for disaster, and he is in love with the Miami Dolphins, and I hate it. I hate that anybody would be in love with the Miami Dolphins. At the same time, I get it. Like, I understand why you'd want to play the Dolphins here. I really do. But I just can't do it because we've learned so many lessons about the Dolphins. I don't know what's going on with Tua. Mike McDaniel is a terrible coach. Tyreek Hill the whole offseason has been weird. He hasn't. I saw a reporter asking me, he hasn't caught a pass over 30 yards in X amount of games. He's getting strange about that. This Dolphins team is something that you just don't want to go near. I think you want to leave it alone and treat it like asbestos. But at the same time, if you want to get involved with some props, I got no beef with that either. Total's 43. They're playing the New England Patriots. Sorry if I missed that part. They're 2.5-point favorites. The only reason I can get down on the Dolphins in this game is because I think back to the offseason. The Patriots were incredibly hyped. A lot of people like them coming into the year. A lot of people have their over-win total. And the Dolphins are a team nobody liked. Everybody has their under 7.5, 8 win total, whatever the fuck it is. But for good reason. And after week one, they're proved to be correct. But, Cam, you got this fucking shirt on, which I've never seen in my life before. Are the Colts maybe one of those sneaky good teams? Was that a disaster spot to play Daniel Jones week one, Steichen, fully prepared, a good offensive line when the Dolphins do not have a great pass rush? I'm sorry, earmuffs, Joey Dumps. I know you're a Dolphins fan. Fucking miss me with Bradley Chubb and Jaleb Phillips. Miss me. These guys are just names. They're not very good players anymore, in my opinion. I don't know what to do. I got no idea what to do. But at the same time, because I'm a sick bastard, I want to do something. So I need somebody to give me something. I don't care if it's on the Patriots. I don't care if it's on the Dolphins. Is it Achane? Is it going to be chalky Achane? It could be. No. Cam says no. Steak has a stupid smirk on his face. Steak or Cam, let's start with you on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like, I think like casual football fans couldn't give a shit less about this game, but for like sports bettors, this is like the game of the week, man. It's like the most talked about matchup all week. This is so funny, like how much different we live. But
great point,
man. Going into this game, like obviously I watched the full Dolphins game week one, and I'm really trying to be very cautious about how I feel about my Colts because that was the worst pass defense I've ever seen in my life. The way that we were scheming players to open, but also just the miscommunication from the Dolphins cornerbacks and stuff like that. They're giving him so much easy shit, man. Like it was ridiculous. So, I know the Patriots, Vrabel came out, talked about how much more they need to run the ball. They passed way too much week 1. But to be honest, if there was anything that I was kind of impressed with the Miami Dolphins week 1, it was their rush defense. I mean, Jonathan Taylor, he didn't break any big ones. He had 15 some carries, 71 yards or something, but nothing crazy for Jonathan Taylor standards or anything like that. So they did good. They did do a good job by keeping him boxed up. So I think the Patriots are still going to pass, and I'm all over Kayshon Boutte today. I laddered his receiving yards. I think I got 37.5 or whatever, but I would take it in the 40s. I don't care where it's at now. I love him. I think, we look at Kayshon Boutte. This guy was the number 2 wide receiver in high school coming into into college. He comes into college. Yeah, his freshman year, I don't know if you guys remember, he had 14 catches, 303 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And that one game, I forgot who they played against his freshman year. This guy's projected first-round wide receiver almost his whole college career. He, LSU, he was the next LSU wide receiver making the big plays and stuff like that. Then he has the ankle injury. He has 3 ankle surgeries. Doesn't really turn, and then he has a couple of locker room issues at LSU and stuff like that. So he falls into the 6th round into the NFL draft. I think the Patriots got blessed, man. You look at his last 4 games with Drake May. He had 3 of his last 4 games. He's gone over 100 yards. If we go back to last year, week 1, he had over 100 yards. And I think he is my favorite, week 1 overreaction. If we're talking about who we're overreacting to week 1 performances, is Kayshon Boutte, because I think the guy's super talented. I think if he stays on the field, he's going to eat. They add on Stephon Diggs, but not really high on Stephon Diggs in this part of his career. But that Diggs does a lot of the underneath stuff. So I think the Dolphins are going to commit to Diggs and the underneath stuff. Trayvon Henderson, they're going to be looking at him for screens and short dump offs and everything like that. Everything that the Colts ran short, it opened up the medium and intermediate passes for Daniel Jones. I think the same thing happens here week 1. I think the Dolphins are going to commit to Diggs. I think they're going to commit to Henderson, because I think he's going to outsnap Stevenson today. And I think Kayshon Boutte is going to get the the middle of the field, the deeper passes looks, and I think he's going to feast again. I really can see him getting another 100-yard performance. I think this guy is probably the most talented wide receiver room for the Patriots, and I don't think people are really respecting the player he is. If he stays healthy, he's a dog. I think Drake May knows that. I think Drake May has the rocket arm to get him the ball that he needs to. So I'm really big on his props, and I think this is another guy we talked about earlier that's going to be in the 50s or 60s later on in the season. So I'm playing him early.
I mean, Vegas agrees with you. He's got the same line as Stephon Diggs. He was nowhere near that last week. So you want to talk about an overreaction that Vegas is also reacting to. They like fucking Kayshon Boutte too. I can't disagree with anything you just said. I'll be honest, man. I am a sick fuck, and there is a large part of me that wants to log into my offshore and max the Dolphins. I'm not going to lie. It's because I'm an idiot, but also because I do feel a certain way about the Patriots. I think this will eventually be a really good football team, but new coach, bunch of new pieces on defense, quarterback that's 1-10 in games he's played in. And we said it at the beginning of the year. I think that they're 1 year away. Say what you want about Tua. He looked like absolute dog shit. From what I saw from the Patriots last week and Geno Smith, you got to think that this is a decent spot or team for Tua to bounce back against at home. So I actually don't think the Dolphins are the worst read ever. I just think you seem crazy for wanting to take them after the performance last week. And someone said in the chat they had a fucking players-only meeting after week 1, which I've never heard of before in my entire life. Props are tough, man. I think props are going to be tough all year for the Patriots until Travion kind of carves out that RB1 role. But you look at him and he's pretty much still got the same prop as Ramondre Stevenson, who no one likes. He's plus 200 to score a touchdown. Ramondre's plus 210. I don't think you can get cute there. And then what do you do with these fucking Dolphin receivers? Tyreek Hill, 64.5. Is anyone pressing that button? How do you press that button? How do you even take Jalen Waddle to go over 50.5? Just the most unreliable guys ever. And I don't like anything in this game, but I might nuke Dolphins on the offshore and be stubborn.
I hate it. And I know why. I know why you want to do it. I understand. But a part of you, Steak, stopped doing that for a little bit. You stopped making those wagers. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, But if you want to get down on that because it's early in the NFL season, I understand. There was no, we're not talking about Notre Dame, but thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it was a terrible missed call, but fuck it. What are you going to do? Tua's never lost to the Patriots. Yeah, somebody in TikTok actually said that too. I wanted to bring it up. Tua 7-0 versus the Patriots. I got no beef with leaning into those trends. The only other thing I wanted to mention and get your guys' opinions on is Drake May. If you look at the box score, is a pretty decent game. 30 of 46, 287 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. But just from now, granted, this was the back corner TV, so I wasn't watching it a lot, but I had an investment on Ginty, so I kept walking over there. Steak, we kept walking over there. You had a Raiders fan at the bar, which was hilarious. Every time I was watching the game, I didn't see Drake May do anything impressive until the end of the game. There were a couple deep shots, a couple throws that he made to kind of get them back into it. But for the most part, it was kind of like just a very blah performance from May. So I don't know. I'm not like, I'm certainly not saying like I'm out on him or anything, but there's something Drake May-ish that I could like for this team. And someone said it. How do we not take advantage of attacking these Dolphins corners? By the way, hilarious name drop with David Givens, former Irish legend. Give it to Givens and Troy Brown. Yeah, I got no beef with that. So kind of what I'm saying is like, I like Drake May in the passing game and one of these receivers. So if it's Kayshon Boutte again, I'm into it. Stephon Diggs, 6 catches, 57 yards. He did have 7 targets. I wouldn't touch anything with the running game. And then on the Dolphins, I don't know. I just don't know how to pick this fucking anybody on this fucking team. I would chalk it up with Achane, or I know people coming into the season kind of like Waddle. So maybe this is Waddle day. I think Waddle is my guy Brinks, my teammate in the touchdown contest. I think Waddle is his touchdown pick. I got nothing, but basically if I'm playing this, I'm betting something on the Patriots passing game. So I'm with you there. All right, here's a good one. Let's talk Steelers Seahawks. And we are running a little long, by the way. It's 10 a.m. Cam, if you got to go at any point, feel free. But appreciate you again. Your ball knowledge is on an elite level this morning. We've got the Miami Dolphins looking like a 3. I'm sorry, not the Miami Dolphins. Sorry. The Pittsburgh Steelers looking like they're a solid 3-point favorite. I've seen 3 pretty much the whole week. My first love on the board was the Seattle Seahawks. I want to remind you guys that last year, my best bet started 1-5. I ended up getting it right and had a nice run to end the season. But this is the point I want to make. My first love in the first couple of weeks in the NFL, my first click tend to be the worst bets on the board. And I just want you to know that there was on a Monday or Tuesday morning, I was texting Steak and Greg that I like the Denver Broncos +7 against the Dolphins. And that's when the Dolphins beat them by 70 points. I'm kind of getting that feeling here. The first click I wanted to make was the Seahawks +3. But I'm trying to think it through. I'm trying to have an argument with myself here and have an honest debate with myself. And I am wondering is selling Rodgers high off that emotional win, whatever you want to call it, almost too obvious with taking points with the Steelers, rather than thinking that might have ignited something with Rodgers and perhaps he's got a little fire under his ass and the Steelers could potentially be, I think you said it, Steak, or maybe Greg even said it. It would be so New York Jets that Rodgers leaves the Jets after destroying them and ends up playing well, and the Steelers are pretty good this year. I don't know. But if they are going to be a good team, they're going to beat a team like the Seattle Seahawks in a bounce-back spot for their defense, a terrible offensive line. This is your best bet. It's the under, which I fully agree with. I think I could see this being like a 17-13 game. I don't know who's got 17. But man, I still, Cam pointed out Tariq Woolen being one of the worst corners in the NFL. I didn't realize this, but for whatever fucking reason, the algorithm on Twitter heard me talking about how much I love the Seahawks defense, which a lot of people do. I'm not an island there. I kept seeing so many hilarious TikTok edits and video compilations of Tariq Woolen making terrible plays. I didn't know that people were out on this guy. I had no idea. Like dating back to last year. It's crazy, and they are bad. But outside of that, I mean, the Seattle defense is still pretty nasty. And I can't forget the fact that, I mean, you're right. The Niners don't have their full roster, but they still mucked it up, and they probably could have won that game with Sam Darnold only throwing for 150 yards in the passing game, and the running game kind of being non-existent.
Yeah.
I don't know how you play how you attack the prop market in this game, but I am wondering. It's an obvious DK Metcalf revenge game playing his former team of the Seahawks. I wonder if there's going to be something there with Aaron Rodgers and Jonnu Smith. I mean, like, it's so weird to me that they even got this guy to begin with and threw him in that package to get him, and that the Dolphins were willing to give him up. He only had 15 yards, but this is what I like. He had 6 targets. He had a touchdown and 5 catches of those 6 targets. I'm wondering if this could be the day Jonnu Smith busts out for like 38, 40 yards. And I kind of want to play a Jonnu Smith market. I think DK Metcalf's going to get taken away. I'm sorry, but I'm not buying Calvin Austin, especially after a 4-catch, 70-yard touchdown game. I think I want to look at one of these tight ends. TJ Watt, Sacks market, that Seahawks offensive line is terrific. It really is. And I don't mind one of these defenses to score. If anything, I was leaning Seahawks to begin with, but that's kind of what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking Jonnu Smith, either receptions or yards. Steak, what do you think about this game?
I'll make it real quick because I do not like props in this game because I like the under. Horrendous performance by Pittsburgh's defense last week against the Jets. As we've said before, we peeled it back and we've decided that that's more testament to how well the Jets offensive line played, specifically Armand Membu. The Jets offensive line was amazing. I like the TJ Watt look from Kyle the Whaler because he was for the most part held in check. I can't stand this Seattle offense. I just can't. I don't like Sam Darnold. I hated mostly everything I saw from him last week, zoning in on one receiver, JSN, for 124 yards. He threw 26 yards to guys not named JSN. I thought they looked so bad. Their offensive line, as advertised. The defense has dogs, but you got Dev Witherspoon out, and you got Eamon Wari, the guy they drafted, out, and Tariq Woolen sucks, which now immediately means the secondary is a problem. Still think the defense is solid, but I don't think it can keep this offensive line in games. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'll be honest with you. I really do. I don't like the Seahawks, but my favorite bet is the under. I think both teams don't score much, and I really, really specifically like a bounce back from the Steelers defense.
Before Cam goes, I just want to say this is a good point. I like Calvin Austin. Rodgers likes quick separation in the middle of the field. I think he continues to stack their chemistry. Don't hate that at all. Yep. Cam, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Steak's on it, man. The Steelers just got embarrassed week 1, and who other than Sam Darnold would you want to come to your crib to bounce back against, man? And you know what I mean? I think one of the biggest things I've learned about you guys, and some of the things you guys taught me about betting, is just like, you know, certain quarterbacks don't go certain places and win, and Sam Darnold going into Pittsburgh and is not something I have on, you know, on my notebook to go out there and get a victory, man. I don't see that at all. You know, I know DK is a public play, but how do you not get to DK? You just saw Pierce all dog Woolen all game. You saw a third string tight end come in the last drive and Moss Woolen for a touchdown. And we all know Aaron Rodgers, big narrative guy, right? That guy loves narrative. So you don't think he's going to feed his boy DK in the red zone to at least get a touchdown? I think DK is going to get a lot of the red zone targets. So I think we're going to see one of those Rodgers jump balls or those goal line fades to DK here. And I with Sam Darnold throw interception, I mean, I think that's a play you throw in some parlays. So it has to be some juice. So I know Joey Porter's out and everything, but I think the Steelers defense can get a touchdown. I really think it's going to be an ugly performance for, you know,
minus 113, Cam.
That's it.
Minus 113. Yep. And then Aaron Rodgers is plus 108. Also, something that I think bodes well for what you just said. Don't you think it's kind of interesting? JSN is 69.5 and DK 66.5. That's pretty close for a guy who had like 80% of the receiving yards for his team last week.
Absolutely, man. Like I mean, I think Sam Darnold though interception is a good straight bet. I mean, at that line, I don't see it for Seattle. We just spent so long talking about all the injuries the 49ers have, and the Seahawks couldn't escape with a victory at home week 1 against that. And now, you know, we're expecting them to go to Pittsburgh and bounce back. No, man, like I can't see it. So, you know, I think Rodgers is going to be very conservative. I think the game does stay under, but I think there's going to be a lot of ugly football from Sam Darnold. I think it's going to look a lot like the Sam Darnold we saw the last couple of weeks and his tenure with the Vikings. So I think DK scored touchdown is like the no-brainer. I know everyone's going to be on that, but who cares? You know, throw that in your parlay. And I think the Steelers defense to, you know, intercept Sam Darnold's a good straight bet, as well as possibly score a touchdown if you got some good odds for that. I think TJ Watt can get a strip sack after getting shut out against the Jets by some rookie tackles. So I think the Steelers defense comes out and shows out.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm off the Seahawks entirely. By the way, JSN, for anybody who didn't know, 13 targets, 9 catches, 124 yards. Next receiver for the Seahawks, 2 catches, 15 yards. Cooper Kupp, who might be washed. Prendy, thanks for the sub, bang. 14 months. Bronx self-made with a new follow. Welcome. Make sure if you're in Twitch, follow the page, YouTube, subscribe, like the stream. We appreciate you. We got over 150 people watching live, and everybody in Twitter, if you like the stream, retweet it. That always helps. I see you guys in TikTok. Swift or Waddle?
Swift or Waddles? Yeah.
Swift. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Knicks or Penix? Ooh, that's kind of interesting because Penix is going against the Vikings defense on the road.
Knicks.
I would say
You're
so
a Knicks
too.
fucking truther, though. I can't listen to you.
But
Tracy
they're
or
playing
Aaron
the Bills,
Jones?
to be fair.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true. Tyron Tracy or Aaron Jones? I like Tracy.
I do too.
And one more, Kelsey or Loveland? I would go Loveland. Actually,
Kelsey.
Super Bowl revenge game.
You
Gotta go
start
Kelsey.
Travis Kelsey. No, you haven't seen any inclination that Colston Loveland is involved yet.
Okay. All right. You're right. All right. Good stuff. Let's keep moving. A couple more games in the 1 o'clock slate, and there's some very interesting games, in my opinion, but we'll try to pick up tempo a little bit.
No, that's crazy.
Is it the Lions bounce back or is it the Bengals bounce back? I really don't know. I clipped a video about this. I talked about it. I just think both of these are incredibly obvious, but I keep doing that. Sorry. Both these are obvious, but sometimes the obvious plays hit. My example was last year with Saquon Barkley going into New York for the revenge game. He had 180 yards. He did everything. One of these has to happen, in my opinion. The Lions coming out at home, Ben Johnson revenge game, putting on a show, potentially. Or the Bengals, which we'll talk about in a second, bouncing back after a putrid performance offensively against the Browns. I watched that Packers-Lions game. Look, the Packers might be legit. They really, really might be legit. Not going to overreact, but like they're the Super Bowl favorites right now, in everybody's opinion, rightfully so. The Detroit Lions weathered the storm pretty well because what I'm realizing is Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love might be the best duo for opening scripted drives because I was almost going to say a word that probably get me banned on TikTok. They don't mess around. Okay. They don't play around. They go for the jugular. They had a nice balanced attack, but then they had a 2-play touchdown drive, both bombs. They don't do this stuff where they like set up the deep pass or they get a good 20, 30-yard completion and then they go conservative. No, they just keep going and going and going. But the Lions settled in nicely. They forced back-to-back 3-and-outs. They dropped an interception. They had a pick six negated for a flag. And Jared Goff in the Lions offense put together some slow, methodical drives, moving the ball down the field. They just couldn't score touchdowns, and they could not get the running game going. You do have to admit the Bears were in full control of that game for 3 quarters, despite Caleb Williams not really playing that good of a game. But there was also a rookie quarterback making his debut in J.J. McCarthy. Then they just got absolutely exposed in the 4th quarter. I'll give them a little bit of excuses. They're missing their top 1 or 2 guys in the secondary. I do not know if Jalen Johnson or any of those guys are coming back. I don't know what the injury status is for anybody else, so please do your own research. But I have to buy into something here with the Detroit Lions. I have to. And if you want to tell me the Bears are going to score, sure, I can buy into that. Bears could score fucking 2 or 3 touchdowns. So if you like something there, Loveland, I mean, Sam Laporta was invented in the Ben Johnson lab. He went out and gets Loveland over Tyler Warren, which is fucking insane to me.
insane.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. I think Loveland's got to be the guy that does something today. I don't hate DeAndre Swift. He's not the best running back. He gets 4-yard gains when he probably could get 8 or 9-yard gains, but they use him and they're going to use him. And I think he's going to do something. I don't really know that I'm interested in trying to figure out if it's Rome Odunze or DJ Moore, but Steak has a good DJ Moore look. Maybe he'll mention it a little bit. I just want to get somewhere on this Lions offense. I want to do something. Is it Amon-Ra? I love Amon-Ra. He only had 4 catches in Green Bay. I think they still try to go to him at least. Hold on, let me pull that up. I don't think Jared Goff looked great, but he was under a lot of pressure. The Green Bay Packer defense looks amazing to start the season. He got sacked 4 times, but he was 31 of 39, very conservative, 225 yards. They didn't take many deep shots. Longest pass was 32 yards for Laporta. Everybody else was under 20 yards. But Amon-Ra, 6 targets, 4 catches. Jahmyr Gibbs had 10 targets, 10 catches. Absolutely insane. I think it's got to be an Amon-Ra game. So I like receptions. I might ladder it. And then if I was playing the Bears, I'd go Colston Loveland. Steak, what do you think about this?
for the sake of tempo and pace, I'm going to square up here. David Montgomery always scores against the Bears. I think he scores today. When we talked about this slate earlier, I liked him first touchdown plus
That's
700.
right.
He's at plus 600 now, so WCLV. But I still think I could really see David Montgomery scoring first in this game. The more as the week goes on, I'm starting to like the Lions, but I do think DJ Moore has a game. I don't hate him getting in the end zone after that awful overthrow that you saw probably 6,000 times.
Mhm.
I don't hate plus 200 DJ Moore to score. I don't hate DJ Moore over 50.5 yards. And I like Montgomery in the end zone, and I like Montgomery's over rush yards. They used the shit out of Jahmyr Gibbs almost to an obnoxious degree last game. I mean, I feel like he had like 8 catches or something for not that many yards, but I think you get a little more smash mouth today in a game that you should be leading and are expected to win, as opposed to playing in Lambeau where you went down early. So yeah, give me David Montgomery.
Total in this game is 46. The Lions are -6 on DraftKings. Cam, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm trying not to be a yes man today, but 100% what Steak said. I mean, one of my biggest takeaways week 1 from that Vikings-Bears matchup was really what opened with the Vikings offense and what allowed JJ to start, seeing the field better was how poorly the Bears defense was translating to the bruiser once they brought in Jordan Mason. Once they brought in Jordan Mason, man, he was breaking tackles. He was making things rough on the Bears defense, man. He was feasting. So once they got away from that Aaron Jones cute shit and they started giving, the big running back the carries, Jordan Mason is running down their face. So I really think David Montgomery is going to be the guy that does that today. I think he's going to go over his rushing yards. I think he's going to score a touchdown. I think he's going to the Lions, they want to get back to that physical football. They want to make things ugly. They want to run down your throat. So, David Montgomery, I think, is the guy that's going to make that Bears defense life on hell today.
Monty is plus 120 to score anytime, 44.5 rushing yards. All right, great stuff, boys. And I'll pick up tempo and pace as well here. I know I'm yapping a lot. Cowboys and the Giants. Cowboys are -5.5. Let's see what the total is in this game. It looks like it is 44.5. I like points. I like points for 2 reasons. I know Steak had a good rant about Dak and the Cowboys. I like him standing on business and being a little contrarian here because a lot of people did think the Cowboys looked good, and myself included. I thought Dak looked pretty good. A couple of CD drops, but they didn't really do much in the second half. No, actually, they didn't score at all. Coming home opener against the New York Giants. You're probably going to get a bounce back from the Giants, even though I'm not a Russell Wilson guy. You probably are. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep my mouth shut because it wouldn't surprise me if Russ goes out here and throws 21 for 28, 270 yards, a couple of nice moon bombs, which he's known for, or Tyrone Tracy gets going, something like that. But I like this Cowboys offense in this game, specifically at home against the Giants. Now, you've got a great defensive front for the Giants. We do know that. But the Commanders were still able to put drives together. Dak's a veteran quarterback. He's experienced. I think he knows that he's going to have people come in, and I think that they probably, I'm not the biggest Brian Schottenheimer guy, but they're probably going to have this in mind. Does that mean they're going to get the ball out a little bit quicker? I could probably go for Dak completions in this game. I think it's going to be, now I'm not going to call it a Dak masterclass, but I don't think this is going to be a game where we see Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders go off. Not seeing that. If anything, I like the running game on the Giants a little bit more. But this is where I think Pickens has a coming out party. If you want to say you want to go back to CD after that bad drop, go right ahead. I never will talk you off CeeDee Lamb. I love CeeDee Lamb, liked him at Oklahoma. I think he's an awesome receiver. Great draft pick for the Giants or for the Cowboys. Love that they got Pickens. I think they got him for a reason. You didn't see much of him in against Philly. I think this is where he gets a deep bomb. Pickens to score a touchdown plus 180 is my touchdown scorer of the week. I like his catches. I like his yards. I also don't mind a small play on Jake Ferguson. Again, pass rush. Maybe have to get something out a little bit quicker. Tight end safety valve would be my look. Steak?
I don't need to go on another rant about the Cowboys. I just don't think the Cowboys are good. I don't think this is a good football team. I'm not a kind of guy who wants to throw a party because he played the Eagles close, to be completely honest. Not the kind of guy who wants to say Dak looks good because he had under 200 passing yards or because CD had some bad drops. I just don't think the Cowboys are good. I obviously think it's very simple. Dak Prescott is a much better quarterback than Russell Wilson. But if you go position for position, I think the Cowboys have as many weaknesses as the New York Giants, and I do not think the Cowboys are that much better than the New York Giants. I know it's a crazy take after last week. That's my take. I'm standing on it, which is exactly why I'm taking the Giants. because I don't think it's that crazy to take 5 with the Giants or 5.5, whatever it is, in two teams I consider to be similarly bad. I think they'll both finish around a similar record. Once again, I know that's crazy. I know most people disagree with me. That's how I feel about the Cowboys. I think the offensive line's bad. I think the defense is horrible. I think they have a good quarterback and 2 good wide receivers, and that is literally it. The rest of the team stinks. I think Jake Ferguson is mid. I think Javonte Williams is below mid. And that's just where I'm at. So I liked Tyrone Tracy last week. He looked like dog shit. Obviously, all the Giants look like dog shit. I kind of want to go back to him. I do think CD probably finds a way to get into the end zone here. That wouldn't surprise me at all. He was super close last week. We saw how he ended the game. He's an absolute baller, and he's pretty much everything to this Cowboys team. So I will not be surprised when you see a 2nd and goal from the 2, where some teams would normally hand it off, and they're force feeding this to CD Lamb to get him in the end zone. So I like a CD touchdown look, but yeah, that's it. I like the Giants with the points.
Good point. I'll go back to this. I think Dak is going to get rid of the ball quick, but I like Pickens. He does run deep routes. That's true, but you don't necessarily need a play to develop because he doesn't need separation. He catches a lot of 50-50 balls. Just to maybe explain myself a little bit further, but that's a very, very good point. People are saying Steak's not wrong here. Steak coming in with a W take. Giants are terrible. They very well could be terrible. Cam, anything in this game?
Yeah, I mean, all week I really thought I was going to get to the over here, because you look at the Cowboys after they trade Parsons, you're like, hey, this is going to be the worst defense in football. Look at them on ESPN, the roster and stuff like that. Nobody stands out on the defense. So, and then they go in week 1 in Philly and they put up a good performance, but I don't really think that's who they're going to be. I think this defense is going to be really soft. I think there's a lot of holes in it. And I think they're going to get exploited. I was just having a hard time after watching the Giants week 1 get there, but I could easily see some points in this game. And I completely agree with your take on George Pickens. The Giants run nothing but cover 1 pretty much almost all games. So it's going to be a lot of one-on-one coverage, man coverage for George Pickens. But the way I'm playing him is his longest reception over 21.5. I don't think he's going to be a big volume guy or anything like that, but, play at that Michael Gallup role a lot more efficiently is, hey, you just run the go ball, everyone else run a route, right, type of thing. So, he had a couple targets week 1. They're both bombs. One, he almost caught that one-handed where he drew the PI, and the other one he didn't connect on. But I think he at least gets that one long catch today against the Giants with that one-on-one coverage. And week 1 at home, in Dallas, I think he has a little solid performance. But again, I'm staying away from too many props from him because I don't know. He's going to be a big volume type of guy, but at least get the big bomb. When you think of Giants and Cowboys, it's usually Dak showing out. Dak shows out every time he plays. So I think you do see George Pickens get that connection today.
I love it. Yeah, Dak has beaten the Giants 13 times in a row, per somebody in the chat. Interesting. All right, one more 1 o'clock game, a couple 4 o'clock games, and we'll wrap it up. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Thank you again for Cam Is Money. Make sure to follow him. I saw on Twitch we have his Twitter profile link. Go give him a follow. And let's talk Bengals now. Bengals are my best bet. Fuck it. Like I said, it's either the Lions or it's the Bengals. I'm going to go with the Bengals. I'm probably going to regret it. I have seen some smart people taking the points with the Jags here, 3.5. They are giving you the hook. I don't think it's weird. I don't think the line's weird. I don't think it's contrarian. I don't think any of that. Like I said, if anything, I think I'm squaring up here. And it's just a combination of not buying into the Jags after 1 week against a really bad Bryce Young and Panthers team. Liam Cohen on the road against Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase after a really bad offensive outing against divisional opponent, home opener. I'm going to take it. I'm going to take my shot. And if I'm buying into anything on the Bengals offense, I'll square up. Burrow, Chase, whatever you want to do. I have no specific read. I think it's going to be everything. For some reason, I see Gesicki getting in the end zone. He would be my cheeky touchdown scorer. But at the same time, I don't think the Jags are necessarily going to not put up a fight. However, we will be interesting to see this Bengals defense if they're any better with Al Golden as defensive coordinator. I know Flacco threw all over him, but it wasn't anything, nothing deep. Nothing too impressive, kind of just took whatever the Bengals defense was giving them, but they shut down the running game entirely. And I know the Browns running back room ain't pretty with Jerome Ford and Sampson or whatever, but I mean, they were getting less than 3 yards per carry. So I don't like ETN in this game. If anything, it'd probably be somebody said BTJ. Sure. Strange. Sure. Something T-Law, something passing if I had to go that route. Steak, anything Bengals, Jags?
Yeah, I'm going to square up too, but I'm not going to take the Bengals. I'm going to take the over. I'll take this. Maybe the squarest over of the day. I think the Bengals offense is inevitable, and I am a big fan of this becoming a big fan of this Jags offense. So yeah, I'm taking the over. That's my favorite play in the game. I do have a cheeky parlay. I think Jamar Chase is the most inevitable fucking player in the league. He's going to have 100 yards today. I also think BTJ, who had 1 catch for 9 yards, will have a bounce back. So I parlayed Jamar Chase 100 yards plus 150, Brian Thomas 100 yards plus 235. I don't know the exact payout, but I think both of these guys go off, put on a LSU show, and I like the over in this game a lot. Also, I like some Travis Hunter looks.
Joe Burrow is your leader for weekly specials passing yards at 6-1. The next guy up is Dak at 10-1. Also, game script trailing. I don't hate it. Trevor Lawrence is 12-1. Again, I do not like the running game for the Jags in this one. And then, of course, on that same note, Jamar Chase is 10-1, the odds-on favorite to have the most receiving yards this week. Cam, anything in Jags Bengals?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I have 3 plays in this game.
Wow.
It's a national championship rematch. You had to get involved somehow. Right. You know what I mean? People are not bringing that up. Come on, that's the first thing I saw when I saw that. So, completely agree. The first play I played last week when I saw this matchup was over 49. When you look at this matchup, I just think there's going to be a lot of scoring on both sides of the ball. I think when you look at week 1, the offensive line that gave up the lowest pressure rate in the NFL in week 1 was the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. Again, they played the Panthers, but is the Bengals D line like a 1? Like, okay, they're going to change that? Not to me, right? So you give Liam Cohen, you give Trevor Lawrence time in the pocket, you give him, time for plays to develop against his Bengals defense. I think he's going to put up points. I played Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 passing touchdowns, like -103. You guys are mentioning like BTJ bounce back. I agree. A lot of people, I like Travis Hunter today as well to score a touchdown. I mean, you don't think you're going to see on red zone today Chase scoring a touchdown and then Travis Hunter scoring a touchdown. This game's going to, we didn't get any points from anybody week 1 besides the Bills and Ravens. So I think this is a game where we get the red zone highlights. We get a lot of the scoring. I played this game. I had the most points. I played Trevor Lawrence. I had the most passing yards. I got at 16-1, so it's a 12-1 now. But nice. I just think you get a lot of points in this game on both sides of the football. So, when I first looked at this matchup, I was like, what player prop do I want? But then I was like, dude, just take the over because, I mean, like one last time, like with no pressure, Trevor Lawrence, I'm not really impressed with Trevor Lawrence, but I do think Liam Cohen bounces back. I really like him as a play caller. So, I think, the Jags are going to be putting up points. And after the Bengals just put up 7 yards in the second half, week 1, you don't think they're going to kind of pissed off and get Chase and T. Higgins involved. I think T. Higgins scores too. I think you can't go wrong with any touchdown parlay in this game, to be completely honest. But I got one
more. I got one more weird one since you said it. They traded fucking Tank Bigsby, and I know a lot of people were like, oh, shit, they're all the way back in Travis Etienne, RB1. But if you know anything about Etienne, he has some real struggles on the goal line. I mean, I have watched this guy fucking struggle to get in at the 1. So my takeaway wasn't they're all the way in on Etienne just because he had 160 yards week 1. It's that they fucking like Tootin. Mm-hmm. And he's plus 265 to score a touchdown. Why not? Why can't he get in today? He's officially the RB2. Tank Bigsby's gone, and I kind of like him to score today.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And even if you watch I don't know if you guys saw any like the Bryce Young, clips and stuff week 1, but they had a lot of drops, man. Guys were open pretty much all game, but they had so many drops. It wasn't like the Jags defense shut them out or anything like that. It was just the Panthers being the Panthers. So, you got pissed off Brian Thomas Jr. And I don't know if you saw the Jags play where Travis Hunter missed an 80-yard touchdown by like a guy's pinky was barely touching the ball at the last second. So, that would have changed the game a lot too for box score wise, at least. So I think if this was later in the year, this total would have been like 52, 53.5, one of those totals that you see super high. So at 49 or 49 is a no-brainer play for me. I'm going to square up here, and I think this is a game that you see all the highlights from.
Love it. On the weekly specials market, the highest scoring game, it's 5-1. Next one is the Bills Jets plus 750. By the way, do you guys think this is interesting? Lowest scoring team, the Browns, the Titans, the Panthers, and then the Saints at 12-1. Is that weird or no?
I don't think you made Spencer Rattler pretty much higher than.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I don't know.
I think he's going to live there.
Well, I want to take the Saints to be the lowest scoring team.
Don't do it, dude. I like the over.
I know you do, motherfucker. Okay, fine. I won't. Yeah. All right. We kind of all are aligned there. And that's it for the 1 o'clock slate. So we'll move into Cam's favorite team, talk these 3, 4 o'clock games, and then shut it down. Oh no, we have the Vikings too, Sunday night. I hate that Greg's best bet is the Denver Broncos -2.5 on the road against your Colts. I like it for one reason. You're kind of going against Daniel Jones after one of his best performances he's had in a long time. And I'm not a Daniel Jones guy, but maybe I need to come around on him. We'll see if he's in the right environment. Not going to cash it yet. But the Broncos are a regression team, in my opinion. They are my regression team. Bo Nix, your boy, is my most interceptions in the NFL clubhouse leader right now with 2. I hope the Colts defense gets after him. I got to take the Broncos because I got to tail Greg. Not thrilled about it. Like I said, total at 43. I'll let you start with this one. I don't know what kind of game script I see. I don't know what kind of players I see going off. I have no read in this matchup, but I'm very interested in watching this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a bad day to be a Colts fan.
Really?
Absolutely, man.
I did not expect you to say that.
I have to keep it real, man. I'm not. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks the last couple of years come through Indy's front door. So, we said so many things that we don't like about the Miami Dolphins and the Miami Dolphins defense, how bad it was, and the pass defense, how bad it was. Everyone was just schematically wide open all game. And you go from week 1 against Miami Dolphins to now your second game is against the best pass defense in the NFL. Very scary for me, man. I'm trying to keep it very cautious about how I feel going to today's game. On top of that, Chardavius Ward, our cornerback number 1, out with a concussion. On top of that, Latu, our first-round pick last year, who had an interception in week 1 as a DN, he's out today. He pulled his hamstring on Wednesday in practice. He's not playing. So now your cornerback 1 is today. Xavier Howard, who they signed 20 days ago, who didn't play in the National Football League last year. That's their cornerback 1. That guy's covering Cortland Sutton. Jalen Jones, who was our third-round cornerback last year, who's our starting quarterback, he's out today. He got hurt week 1 against Miami. So now you got Xavier Howard as your cornerback 1 covering Cortland Sutton. I know people are going to be like, who was the cornerback 1? He plays a slot. He's going to be covering fucking who? Marvin Mims. So, I think, and then you got Bo Nix, who got embarrassed week 1, obviously at home. I think the Broncos are going to be able to move the football, unfortunately. I do like how Lou Anamuro, the differences he does on defense is compared to last year. I think I do think Bo Nix does another interception because, I like Cam Bynum in the backfield. And I like a couple guys like that, a couple guys that are ball hawkers. The Colts defense really never had that. They just had, this terrible people in the secondary. So at least a safety play, I think it's a step forward. I think the linebacker play is fine. But I really just, if I wasn't a Colts fan, man, how do you not play the Broncos? You got Daniel Jones, who people are buying into after beating Miami Dolphins week 1, now plays at Denver Broncos secondary. Mm-hmm. This game is I think when I looked at this game before I hopped on the stream, the Broncos are -120 now. At least on my offshore.
They are.
Me? You know what I mean? -120 against Daniel Jones. I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, I wouldn't mind being wrong. But if I was not a Colts fan, I would be on the Denver Broncos before I can freaking wake up and pour my coffee this morning. So, I hope I'm wrong. If I had to play a prop in this game, I play Tyler Warren because a lot of first reads went to him. They were getting him the ball. Tyler Warren is the focal point of his offense. They're going to feed him all year long. So. I really liked how they got him involved early on, but again, man, I hope he plays as cautious as possible. I hope Jonathan Taylor gets 30+ carries because the more we pass, the uglier it's going to get for us.
I found it interesting that Jonathan Taylor only had 18 carries and DJ Giddens had 12 last week. I heard there might be a little suspicion that Taylor could be banged up or something, and they're trying to be cautious with him, but he's the third on the leaderboard for the most rushing yards this week at 10-1. Find that interesting against the Broncos defense. Steak, you agree with Cam's take here?
Yeah, sure. I'm going to make it really quick because I don't really like much in this game.
Yeah.
I think it's you could overreact to this game from week 1 heavily because of how good the Colts looked and how bad I think the Broncos looked against a team you have no excuse to look bad against. Specifically offensively, I thought Bo Nix looked awful. But there's one guy that I'm going to overreact about. I think you could probably start just betting Tyler Warren. I think he's going to be really fucking good. I think we're going to end up clowning the Bears for taking Colston Loveland over this guy at some point if it hasn't already started. I like Tyler Warren. I like sprinkling to score a touchdown. I like his receiving yards. But other than that, man, I am not getting involved. I think the Broncos offense might be bad.
Yeah, I do too. And I also have no problem. Nobody said him, but I like Michael Pittman. I liked him even coming out of college. I mean, I know he's not like the flashiest wide receiver one. He's kind of like who I thought Drake London would be, but I feel like everybody would say hands down Drake London would be the guy they'd take over Pittman. But 6 catches, 80 yards, a touchdown. He had a 27-yard catch and 8 targets. Could be a guy that Daniel Jones looks towards. So I don't mind going back to him either, but totally with you guys on Tyler Warren. Love Tyler Warren in college. Thought that was a blessing that it fell to the Colts. So with you on that. And he was used early in the first drive. So potential game script. All right, next game. We're almost done. Colts.
Yep. You lay Pittman with Pat Surtain on him?
Oh, no. Yeah, I don't like that. No, I don't like that. Nope. Thank you.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you should fucking props in this game, man.
All right, you're right. Yep.
I hope you're right, but
no, you're right. Cardinals and Panthers, not a whole lot coming from me on this one. The only thing that I wanted to mention is, I mean, I know the Cardinals are going to be a popular survivor pick today, but I don't like the Panthers. I know Steak doesn't like the Panthers. I know people want to like the Panthers. There's nothing I can tell you in the prop market here that I would even look for on the Carolina side. On the Arizona side, I would maybe consider Steak. We were both on this last week with James Conner to have the most rushing yards. Now, he only had 12 carries, 39 yards. He didn't get anything going. Trey Benson was kind of nice. 8 carries, 69 yards, but he had a 52-yard rush. Kyler didn't do much, but Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. I think it was reported Kyler Murray woke up with food poisoning. He still played. They grinded out a win. Kind of think Arizona goes off today. I like their offense in some way, shape, or form. If you go back to Marvin Harrison, sure. Maybe this is the game McBride gets in the end zone. Don't hate that. He had 6 catches, 61 yards, but 9 targets. I also wouldn't be surprised if this Carolina Panthers defense just gets thrashed again. ETN ran all over them. They had a weird game getting delayed. They were on the road. Now they go back on the road. I don't hate going back to James Conner today, personally, whether it's straight in the rushing yard market or a little sprinkle on most rushing yards, which he is 14-1. He's the 6th favorite behind Kyren Williams and CMC. Steak, anything on this one? We can keep it quick.
Well, Marvin Harrison Jr. is my touchdown scorer in the competition. Okay. I like him to get in the end zone. I probably honestly sprinkle that every week. I'm kind of over the Trey McBride touchdown thing.
Okay.
The guy's allergic to the end zone. It was all last year. And then honestly, everybody started that shit this year. I'm definitely not getting into that. I'm fine if everybody wants to keep pressing it. I'm not doing it. And I agree with what you said. I like James Conner over 69.5 rushing yards. Heard a lot of murmurings about what McKiffin said. McKiffin is 100% a ball knower, but I honestly can't tolerate James Conner disrespect. I think James Conner is one of the most underrated running backs in the NFL, and I think this is the perfect situation for him to go crazy because I do think the Carolina Panthers are very fucking bad defensively. Mm-hmm. I don't even know if they're good offensively, but I'm not prepared to say that after week 1, but I'm very prepared to say this defense sucks, and I think that the Cardinals could run all over him.
Camp?
Yeah, I mean, I just have Conner and a couple touchdown parlays as well.
Love it.
I mean,
I love it.
I'm not going to beat it up too much. He's going to score against the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. Last 4 o'clock game. We are almost done. Chiefs, Eagles. I like the Eagles. And I don't know if I'm getting fucking duped here. Patrick Mahomes is an underdog at home. Super Bowl revenge game. I don't know. Are the Chiefs really going to start 0-2? A couple of narratives you can look at here. Even though they didn't cover against the Cowboys and the Cowboys won, the Cowboys covered, kept it close, had a chance to even maybe win if CD catches that pass. I still like the Eagles. I thought their defense played much better in the second half. I think their offense is very hard to stop. And honestly, just not even really overthinking it. I don't like these weapons for Mahomes if Worthy and Rice are out. I think Worthy was practicing, but I don't think he's going to play. See how old ass Wash, Kelsey, Pacheco. Steak's not a big Pacheco guy. Maybe I shouldn't be either. He lost me fucking 5 units in the Super Bowl, that fucker. I just like the Eagles. I like the Eagles, but maybe I'm getting duped as fuck. And if I like the Eagles, we talked about it. AJ Brown's a pretty obvious bounce back spot, but Steak, I think you said you like Devontae Smith. I'm good with that. I'm good with that. I don't really know who else I'd play or get involved with. I think I like the Eagles, and I think I like them to put up some points and honestly, like, fuck them up again. That's just kind of the persona. I think the Eagles could be that team. Like, you're going to go back into Kansas City scared, of revenge from Pat Mahomes. I think they make it nasty again. So I like the Eagles big. Steak?
Yeah, I don't like the Eagles, but I'm probably not going to bet the Chiefs either, so I'll stick to props. I do like Devonta Smith. I've heard a lot of A.J. Brown's got to have a big game thing, and I just I'd start digging into what AJ Brown's been doing, and he's as bad as often as he's good. And he's definitely not a guy you can rely on for a bounce back game, especially not in this passing game. I like Devonta Smith in the passing game for the Eagles. How hilarious is this wide receiver room? Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, Tyquan Thornton, and Brashard Smith. Is that the funniest wide receiver room that we've ever seen for a team like the Chiefs who have the baby goat and fucking – anyways, Travis Kelce has better odds to score a touchdown than Trey McBride. I thought that was worth mentioning. I don't know how you attack the Chiefs. Maybe Cam's got something that I don't. I don't want to force it. I literally don't know how you attack this Chiefs offense. I don't.
No.
Fuck no. Like I have such betters fatigue with this matchup. You know what I mean? Like last week, Deegan made a great point where it's like there's just some games you just watch and you don't bet, and I still bet the under in Sunday Night Football, and that was probably the worst wager of all time. So I'm trying to stay true to that with this matchup. I really don't want to get involved. If I was to get involved, Devontae Smith versus man coverage is no brainer for me usually. I really do like him against man coverage. He's torched Chiefs every time he's played against them, so I don't see why not. But it's just like I completely agree with Deegan too. Like it took everything out of me not to get to the window with the Eagles. I think the wide receiver one for the Chiefs today is going to be the Zebras. I think Mahomes at home 0-1. Like you know, there's going to be some type of shit that goes on where everyone's going to be bitching on X all day about some penalty that's going to change the game. So. I just don't want to. I lived on that side of a bet slip before, and I don't want to live on it again. So I think you just watch this game, you watch the fluke shit happen, and see how it turns out. But if I had to bet something, it'd be the Eagles.
Can I ask you a question, Cam? Honestly, would you rather have had your under bet on Sunday Night Football and had it just be over right away, or would you have rather had Ravens money line like I had?
I'd rather have the under for sure.
Yeah, that was awful. That was
Ravens money line's like one of those where you're like, okay, where I start betting these winnings on next week, and then you're like, what's happening? What's happening right now? You know what I mean? So
especially when it's your tilt play too. That sucked, man. That was a tough way to start the year. Eagles secondary looks suspect. I thought they did early. I thought they tightened up very well in the second half. Personally, last game. Minnesota Vikings -3.5 at home, 44.5 stake. You're a Vikings guy. Congratulations. Massive win against the Bears. JJ looked awesome in the fourth quarter. I am officially no longer a JJ McCarthy hater, but I'm not a fan yet. We'll see what happens. The Falcons.
We don't want you, little bro. We do not want you on our fucking wagon, dude. You're not a fan.
You can stop saying it.
You're not a fan. You stay over there. You stay the fuck over there.
That's like me saying like we don't want you on the Rays wagon. I don't care. You're not coming on. I'm not coming on the JJ McCarthy fucking fan club. Just
you're already disrespecting the Rays wagon. You're gonna learn, dude. You're gonna learn.
Listen, let me tell you something. Okay, talk about a wagon that you're on. You got the Penix party this, the Penix party that. Oh, look at me and fucking the Atlanta Falcons winning the NFC South, disrespecting Baker. Oh, Raheem Morris, he's so cool. He's so this, he's so that. This team is fucking soft inside and out. That's what they are. Your mic changed, DGen? Oh no!
Yeah, your voice got
I was going to tell you, but you're cooking, Keen. So no.
Thank you. Yeah, I was cooking. Now I want to fucking back your Vikings. Now I want to get in on JJ McCarthy. Actually, I don't even really want to get on JJ McCarthy. I just want to get on the Vikings in general because I think the fucking quit being so soft. Stop leaving group chats like beef. I think the defense is going to put Penix in a fucking blender. I don't think this is a good spot for him. I don't think this is a good spot for the Falcons after that tough. They probably should have beat the Bucs. Bucs didn't play a great game. They didn't deserve to win. I don't know if the Falcons did either necessarily. Ugly game. Now you got to go to Minnesota. By the way, what's going on with the Vikings? Back-to-back primetime games? Jesus Christ, can we relax? So I don't like a lot of props in this game.
Face of the NFL, dude.
I don't like a lot of props in this game, but let me tell you something. All right. Tell me right now.
Mm-hmm.
KOC isn't going to draw up a fucking bomb to Justin Jefferson. How does that not happen? How all these things we're talking about, the Lions, the Bengals, all these things happening. How after that game, when Justin Jefferson didn't do anything that crazy, you're in the home fucking stadium tonight with your young quarterback, you're going to tell me he's not throwing a bomb to Justin Jefferson? I mean, give me the longest reception, the longest completion. Give me something. That's what I'm going to be on.
Cam, go ahead.
Oh, Cam, you go.
Yeah, so I rewatched that Buccaneers and Falcons matchup, and I'm sorry, Steak, but without those offensive tackles, the Falcons' run game is fucked.
Oh, 100%. Bucs run D is impressive.
Who?
Bucs run D is very impressive. One of the better ones.
That's
It is.
true, but I mean, they couldn't get anything going like at all. So, Bijan was getting hit the second he touched the ball. Tyler Algier was getting hit the second he touched the ball, and so for that reason, I think I haven't got to it yet. Sunday Night Football kind of wait, but I'm for sure going to be on Bijan receiving yards. I mean, they're not going to give that guy the ball just because they can't run it. So, he had 100 receiving yards or against the Buccaneers or something like that. I know a lot of it came out one play, but I saw the line at 25.5 earlier in the week. So I think Bijan's going to get some of the quick passes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Penix is not going to be able to stand in the pocket and wait all day for deep stuff to develop against the Minnesota Vikings. They're running cover 0. They're bringing the heat, especially with a piss poor O line. So Penix is not to get the ball out quick. And I think Bijan's going to be the receiver some of those plays. So I like Bijan every which way for passing wise.
Yeah. You mentioned the national championship rematch. So obviously I got to mention this one, another national championship rematch.
Oh, that's right.
I don't think I agree with what you said about Atlanta losing their offensive lineman. I'm already very, very in a dark place about the Atlanta Falcons wager that I have after 1 week, even though I actually think they should have won that game against the Bucs, but it was more about the Bucs not playing that well, in my opinion.
Mhm.
But one thing that stuck out for me with Atlanta is they were dying for another receiving option, and they threw the ball to Drake London 16 times, and it was they were forcing it to this man. And that's entering Darnell Mooney, who's back, and he had a pretty good year last year. I know every year I feel like we say is the year for Darnell Mooney. People liked him on the Bears. I get it. I'm not going to be that guy. But Darnell Mooney, I think he fits the role perfectly for exactly what the Falcons needed last week. A second receiver option that wasn't named Kyle Pitts. He's at 43.5. I kind of like that today. And then I agree, D-Gen. I agree. I watched the fucking clips from the Vikings game over and over, and I love the clip where JJ McCarthy says to Justin Jefferson, "Don't give up on me when they're down." And I think those guys have a good fucking relationship, as opposed to a guy like Malik Neighbors who won't fucking high five Dable on the sideline and is rolling his eyes and saying he has resting bitch face. I just think fucking Justin Jefferson is invested in this fucking team, and I think that pays off. Longest reception, I respect. I think he gets in the end zone again. He got in the end zone last week. I think Justin Jefferson plus 116 to score is a good look. And yeah, I'm not afraid to tell you when I'm going to fade my teams. For example, I texted D-Gen yesterday that I shit nuked LSU.
Mhm.
I like the Vikings today. I think it's a bad matchup for Penix and the Falcons. I like the Vikings.
Gentlemen, great stuff. Went through the whole slate, an hour and 43 minutes. It's probably the longest prop talk we've ever had. Cam, cannot thank you again, man. That was a hell of a performance, and you did, especially from the West Coast. Really, really appreciate you. The link to your profile's up. Everybody, yeah, give some W's for Cam. That was awesome.
W Cam. That was a masterclass performance, Cam.
Yep, that's exactly what we need up here. Ball know, we might have to have you back on at some point before the season's over. Go follow Cam is Money. I can't say good luck to your Colts today because unfortunately I'm gonna have to be on the opposite side. But thank you very much, man. Good luck on all your wagers, and we hope to see you again soon.
All right, thank you guys.
Yeah, boys.
All right, peace, dude. All right, Steak, take it easy. Enjoy yourselves. Everybody have a great day. I got people still in here. Yeah, there we go, Dr. Tutty. Dylan Sampson or J.K. Dobbins. My guy up here said Dobbins. I like Sampson, though. We are going to shut it down. I see Ramble is live. Thank you again for you know what? Straight Locks should get some love. Straight Locks should get some love. We typically raid Ramble. Is Straight Locks live right now? What do you guys think? You booze, you lose. What happened? LOL Cam, you booze, you lose. Raid Straight Locks. Yeah, I'm down to pass the rock around. Yeah, sure. Hold on. Straight. How do you do it? STR8 locks. Let me see. Yeah, there we go. Go show Straight Locks some love. Did I do it right? Wait, is that it? I missed the whole stream because I'm hungover. Oh, you hate to see that. Is that it, guys? Is that the right raid? Because there's no profile picture, and there should be a profile picture. Can you guys tell me if that's it or not? I don't know if that's it. Please confirm. Big D-Gen in chat. That's him, Slander? Yeah? Yes? All right. Go say what's up to Straight Locks. Let's give Straight Locks some love. Win Big D-Gen in chat. Thank you as well. Good luck, everyone in TikTok. Appreciate you guys hanging out. Join the raid. Have yourselves a great day. And we'll see you guys on Monday morning for the recap. Peace.